our program, as you can see, we are trying to find out where the wild things are. And by wild things, I mean imaginary creatures.
Ooh.
So if you want to find out what an imaginary creature is and where they live at, just join us.
Come on.
Whoa, thanks for joining us, guys.
Hello.
And I didn't get to introduce us earlier. I am Shannon, and this is the wonderful Miss Joy.
Hello.
And Miss Joy is our imaginary creature expert today. She shared some stuff with me, and it's pretty exciting. So yeah, I guess, Miss Joy, can you explain to us, what is an imaginary creature? What does that mean?
Well, imaginary creatures are pretty cool. And they're any type of creature or animal or little beastie that you've created in your mind. So throughout history and all the years, there's been stories of animals passed down. You can find them in children's books and all kinds of places. And there's some real popular ones. Shannon, can you kind of think of some that come to your mind?
I think the first one that comes to my mind is unicorns. I sometimes like to imagine in my head that they're like unicorns running around in my backyard.
Very cool. I think unicorns are one of the more popular imaginary creatures. Are there any other ones that you can think of?
Yeah. And now you got me thinking. I was just thinking dragons, how they breathe fire. It's cool to imagine in our heads, them flying and us maybe being able to ride on their backs or something like that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I love that dragons, some of them can breathe fire.
Yeah.
I kind of like to think about a mermaid.
Okay.
How cool would it be to have a gigantic tail and you can swim through the ocean and playing with all the fish and the dolphins?
I love that.
I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But there's also imaginary creatures that have come from all over the world.
Whoa.
There's 7 continents. So today we're going to travel to those 7 continents and see what unusual imaginary creatures that we can find.
I'm so excited. Yay! Let's do it. Cool.
Okay, Miss Shannon, the first continent that we're going to travel to is South America.
Ooh, I like it.
So we're going to travel deep into the Amazon forest, and we're going to see if we can see the Mop and Glory.
The Mop and Glory? What is the Mop and Glory?
The Mop and Glory is an imaginary creature that's been passed down in tales of South America for years and years. Guess how tall he is?
Like a dog?
No, taller.
What? Like a horse?
Even taller.
What?
The Mop and Glory is 6 feet tall and has red, shaggy fur. And stories say that he smells really, really bad.
Like garbage?
Yes, and rotten meat.
Ew, that's gross.
He has razor-sharp teeth.
Eek.
But the most distinctive feature of the Mop and Glory is that he has one gigantic eye right in the middle of his forehead. But he also has 2 mouths, one on his face, and guess where the other one is?
I don't know. His elbow?
No.
His knee?
No.
Where's it at?
It's a gigantic mouth right in the middle of his belly.
Ah!
So if you're in the Amazon, watch out for the big Mop and Glory.
He sounds really scary.
He's a pretty scary guy, but there's one good thing. He absolutely hates water.
Oh.
So if you run across him, there's plenty of streams or rivers in the Amazon. So just jump in one of those or get on the other side of one and you'll be able to escape.
Wow, thank you, Miss Joy. That was super exciting. The Mop and Glory, South America.
Yep, lives right in the Amazon.
Right in the Amazon. Wow. Okay, I've got one for you.
Okay, let me hear.
Okay, so this comes from imaginary creature that's in stories from Europe.
Ooh, way up here?
Yeah, like right around this area, all those little countries right there. And this creature is called the Chimera.
Ooh.
Yeah, so the Chimera, he's really interesting because he's not really just one creature. He's like 3 creatures in one.
3 different?
Yeah, like he's got 2 different heads. So one is the head of a goat, and it has these big horns that it can ram you with. And the other is the head of a lion with, the teeth, and it's got claws.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and as if that weren't bad enough, it also has a venomous tail, a snake tail. So instead of a regular tail, it's got a snake on it. Like, yeah.
Oh my goodness. So this is not a creature that you want to run into.
No, no. It's a very, scary imaginary creature. In fact, it even breathes fire like a dragon, too.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And because of all that, whenever it's talked about, in Greek mythology, it was considered to be like a terrible foreshadowing of a natural disaster that was coming to the area. Or it was considered just one of the most deadly creatures in all of Greek mythology.
So you definitely don't want to see one.
No. But if you do, it does have a weakness. So there was a hero named Bellerophon, and he fought a chimera in the stories. And he found out that the chimera was weaker on the inside. So when it opened its mouth at one point, he stabbed his spear into the chimera's mouth. And it managed to kill it.
Wow.
So yeah.
That was very cool, Miss Shannon.
Okay.
So now we're going to travel from Europe to Africa. Can you find Africa on the map?
Okay, let me see. So here was Europe, that was the Chimera, and then Africa is south of there, so that must be Africa.
Excellent, good job. So in Africa, there have been stories passed down for years about another pretty scary creature. It even has a very scary name.
What is it, Miss Joy?
It's known as the Groot Slang. Does that not sound scary?
It does.
So the Groot Slang is another imaginary creature that is made up of other animals.
Oh, like the Chimera.
Yes, but think of this. Think if an elephant
Okay.
and a snake joined together.
Whoa, that had to be one really big snake.
It's pretty cool because it has an elephant head, but a long, strong snake body. Ooh, that's a pretty cool creature.
It is.
Now the Groot Slang is very, very smart
Mm,
and very, very strong.
that's a dangerous combo right there.
It really is. And it's been known to live in a place that in South Africa they call the bottomless pit.
Mm.
That's a pretty weird name.
Is it like a really deep hole?
Yes, it's kind of like a cave where he attracts other animals and even other elephants. The legend says that they will try to attract other elephants, and sometimes they've known to attack and feed upon other animals.
Oh, wow. 'Cause it's almost like a spider, too. It's like luring them into its lair.
Exactly. But as with all the other imaginary creatures, there's one way that you can get on the good side of a Groot Slang.
Oh, what is that? I don't want it angry at me.
Exactly. So the Groot Slang loves diamonds and jewels and loves to hoard any type of treasure down in its cave. So you might have one chance to get out alive is if you offer some diamonds and precious jewels.
Wow, thanks, Miss Joy. That was really cool. Okay, so Groot Slang, Africa, and the bottomless pit. And so I have another one.
Okay.
And this one is from the continent of Asia.
Ooh.
Right over here.
So there's some cool places in Asia. You've got China, India, and over here, Japan.
Hmm. And the creature I'm thinking of is from Japan. So right over here. And it is called the Karakone Hinotama.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now that is quite a name.
It's pretty neat. Let's check it out. So there he is. That is the Karakone Hinotama. He is essentially a giant, fiery jellyfish of doom.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, like, unlike a normal jellyfish, he doesn't like float in the ocean. Instead, he floats on the air. And he's not made out of like normal tentacles or anything like that. Instead, he's made of fire.
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine looking up into the sky and seeing a gigantic jellyfish floating in the air with tentacles of fire?
That would be pretty cool. I bet it'd be a pretty beautiful sight to see.
I think I'd kind of like to see one myself.
Yeah, yeah. And while they're really pretty to see, you don't necessarily want to get close to them, though.
Okay.
Unlike the Mop and Glory or the Chimera or even the Groot Slang, they don't really want to eat you or anything, but they also don't want to be messed with.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, there's a legend about a samurai who went out to go and attack one of these Karakone Hinotamas, but when he went to attack them, the people never heard from him again.
Ooh.
So, like, he just disappeared. So, don't go messing with fiery jellyfish. If you want to survive a Karakone Hinotama, then just let it be. Watch it from afar. Admire it from afar.
Look, but don't touch.
Yes.
Whoa, Shannon. That Japanese fiery jellyfish was pretty cool.
Keep telling me about it.
He was a little scary, a little bit like the Groot Slang and the Chimera. They were pretty scary imaginary creatures.
Yeah.
I think it's time that we travel all the way to North America.
Right there?
Right there.
Cool.
Let's see if we can find a little less scary imaginary creature. This one comes from Native American folklore, and it's called the Thunderbird.
So yeah, Miss Joy, what makes the Thunderbird so cool?
Well, he is an enormous bird that flashes lightning from his eyes, and as he flaps his huge wings, it makes the sound of thunder.
Wow, he sounds a little scary too.
He does, but he does some very, very cool things. One time, legend says that when a village was going hungry, the Thunderbird swooped down into the ocean and picked up a huge, gigantic whale.
A whale? A whole whale?
And dropped it off right to the village so the people would not go hungry.
Wow, that was really nice of the Thunderbird.
So there are good imaginary creatures too.
Wow.
Now the Thunderbird also has the power to create storms. Rainstorms, windstorms, and even strong thunderstorms.
That sounds kind of scary too.
It does, but he uses it for good. Like when the crops need to be watered to grow food in the villages, the Thunderbird would swoop down and create a storm to bring rain to the crops so they would grow and feed the villagers too.
Whoa, Miss Joy, that was really cool. That's like an imaginary creature that's like helpful.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really neat.
So there are some good ones out there too.
I like that. I think I've heard of another one.
Ooh, where are we traveling to this
So
time?
now we are traveling to Australia over here.
We're back on this side of it here.
And this imaginary creature that we're gonna find out actually lives in the seas around Australia, and it's called the abaya.
Ooh.
So he covers a pretty wide territory, and that's because he's pretty big himself. So the abaya, what he looks like, is essentially like a giant eel.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So almost like a gigantic snake that lives in the water.
Yeah, exactly. He sounds kind of scary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the Thunderbird, he uses his powers to help to like do good things. And mostly that for him, that means protecting the sea creatures. That's his whole goal.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so like he's like a friend of all the fish and the dolphins and the whales. And he looks after them. So whenever like hunters or fishermen are coming after them, he uses his enormous tail to like cause waves, to keep the boats away, or even to create storms, to keep hunters and fishermen from getting his friends.
Oh, I think the abaya is pretty cool.
Yeah, so basically all you have to do to stay on his good side is be nice to nature.
Thanks, Shannon, for sharing all that information about the abaya. I love the fact that the abaya protects the ocean around Australia.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to think about, to imagine a creature protecting the waters.
So now we have visited 6 of the 7 continents.
Which one have we not done yet, Joy? It seems like we've covered most of the map at this point. Like I know we talked about the Thunderbird in North America.
Right.
And we talked about the 2-mouthed Mop and Glory in South America.
That's 2.
Talked about the 3-headed creature, the Chimera in Europe.
Right.
And the elephant snake, the Groot Slang in Africa.
So that's 4.
Okay. And then in Asia we had, the fiery jellyfish, the Karakone Hinotama.
Exactly.
And then we just talked about the abaya down in Australia.
So that's 6 of the continents. So what continent are we missing?
It looks like we've covered most of the map. Wait a second. Down here, Antarctica.
Antarctica. That makes all 7 continents.
Whoa. So Antarctica's pretty cold. So what imaginary creature could live there?
Well, now the Yeti is a very huge creature. He's almost human-like, but he's as tall as 8 to 10 feet tall.
Whoa, that's pretty tall.
And he has shaggy long hair. Now in Antarctica, he would have white colored hair. But Yetis have been spotted all over the world.
Wow, like everywhere?
Everywhere. And they're known by different names. See if any of these names sound familiar. Have you ever heard of a Sasquatch?
Yeah, I've heard that before.
So a Yeti and a Sasquatch are similar, but they just live in different regions of the world. Now in North America, do you have any idea what we call a Yeti or a Sasquatch here?
I feel like I've heard the term Bigfoot.
Yes, that's right. So he has the coolest names. So you've got Sasquatch, Bigfoot. In snowy regions, he's known as the Yeti, but some snowy regions call him the abominable snowman.
Whoa. I heard about that in some movies and books.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Well, now the Yeti, some people feel like the Yeti is a positive creature that brings good, like he lives and protects the land from evil spirits. But then other legends that have been passed down by people that have spotted Yetis, they seem to be a little bit scared of them. They'll see him in the woods and he has bright glowing eyes and he has a blood-curdling shriek.
Whoa, Miss Joy, that was our last imaginary creature, right?
Wasn't that fun?
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. You've now traveled around the world with us, just looking at all the different mythological creatures that people have imagined all over the world.
And now it's time for you to put your imagination to work. We want you to create your very own imaginary creature. So take some time. Think about the coolest animal that you can come up with. Is it going to have the horns of a bull? Or is it going to have, a roar of a lion? Put your imagination to work and see what you can come up with. So go ahead and grab your paper, grab your markers or your crayons, and start drawing an animal that you think is super cool. We're going to give you some questions to kind of get you started, get you thinking of some things. So one of the first things to think about, so think, Miss Shannon, for your imaginary creature, where is it going to live?
That's a good question.
Yeah, there's all kinds of places. It could live in the sky. It could live in the trees. It could live all different kinds of magical places.
I think I would want mine to live like in the ocean.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like maybe like the Pacific Ocean over here or something like that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So once you pick out where your animal's going to live, then you need to start thinking, well, what is it going to look like? So if it's going to live in a cold region like Antarctica, maybe it needs lots and lots of hair, thick, long hair, because that would help keep it warm.
Yeah.
Or if you pick the desert, maybe how about the deserts of Africa? What would it need to look like to survive in a really hot
Some
climate?
way to keep cool out there.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so, Miss Shannon, you picked the ocean.
Yeah.
So, kind of what's an idea of what your creature's going to look like?
Well, I think it definitely need to be able to swim. So I'm kind of picturing that it has like the body of a turtle and like the tail of a whale. And maybe it can even jump out of the water like a flying fish. So it has like big fins when it jumps out of the water.
Is it even going to have like the hard shell of the sea turtle?
Yeah, to like protect it.
Oh, this is going to be super cool. So now that we've got an idea of what it's starting to look like, let's start to think, is it going to have some really good strengths? So what are some strengths that an animal might have?
Well, I guess it could be like really strong, or it could be like really smart.
Yes, or maybe it can run or move really, really fast. So let's keep in mind with that. Now, how about your
My
turtle?
turtle creature.
Whale fin.
I think his strength, since he's kind of like, he can do the flying fish thing, is like when he jumps out of the water, and if it's sunny out, he can create like rainbows.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, like
I
the
love
rainbows
that.
help him fly, so he can go like save people in the water and
Oh, so yours is
Yeah.
a good creature.
stuff like that. Yeah, he's a good imaginary creature.
Yay! But we also have to keep in mind that your animal also needs some weaknesses as well. So think about the Mop and Glory that we saw that lived in the Amazon forest. Well, it hated water. So let's think about some things that might be some challenges for your creature. Like, if they have wings, they can fly, but if they don't have wings, they're going to have to stay on the ground. Or, what are you thinking for yours that might be a weakness?
Well, I was thinking, since I just said he made rainbows, right, when he flew. So maybe when it's dark out, or if it's raining and there's no sun, he can't make his rainbows. And so he can't fly as far.
So no rainbows.
Yeah, he has to stay in the water when it's not sunny out.
I like that.
Yeah.
So go ahead and get some ideas for your creature. And then last but not least is the fun part. You have to come up with a name for your creature. Shannon, have you been able to think of a cool name for yours?
You know, while we were talking, I was definitely thinking about that. I was like, what would I call this thing? I think I've settled on that I would call it the Rainbow Sunwing.
Oh, I love
It's
that.
a little dramatic, but I think it's fun, you know? It has all the different parts of me. He has a rainbow, he likes the sun, he has wings. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love to see everybody's imagination come into life. So take your time, draw your creature, color it all its beautiful colors, and bring it to life as best you can. And thank you so much for joining us today. We had lots of fun.
Yeah, thanks guys. It's good to see you.
Take care.
Bye.